This is a Dicecade podcast. We open on a shot of a hand as it gently places a thinly cut piece of deli meat upon a slice of bread. As we push out to see a tray of sandwiches and a pitcher of lemonade resting on the countertop. The kitchen itself is quaint, with pops of color to liven up the space. There's a large porcelain sink and various pots hanging upon the far wall. We focus in on the woman in the space where we see Judy McKinley standing there, her palms resting on the counter as she stares out the window to her daughter Elizabeth, who is playing in the yard with her new stuffed bunny. We watch Judy smile as the rays of the sun highlight her daughter's ruby red hair before she shifts her gaze back to the counter ahead. We see Judy pull a knife from the drawer, her hands shaking as she plunges it into the spongy top of the bread, slicing it in two, separating them in these triangular shapes as she hears her daughter call out, "Daddy?" Hearing this, Judy looks towards the window to the backyard, slicing the tip of her finger as blood starts dripping on the sandwich as she drops the knife on the counter, sprinting toward the backyard. We watch as Judy swings the door open, Elizabeth running to her, clutching her stuffed bunny as she leaps into Judy's arms. "You're right. You're okay. I'm right here." Elizabeth looks to her, her big doe eyes tearing up as she stares into her mother's, as she points with her free hand toward the fence in the back of the yard, which is lined with tall boxwood hedges.
I saw Daddy in there, but
Judy pulls Elizabeth back into her arms, brushing her head with her hand, forgetting that her finger is still bleeding as she looks toward the hedges. She stares, Elizabeth nestling into her chest as the sound of shattered glass echoes from the top floor of the house. Judy's focus shifts toward the window on the top floor where the sound of the shattering glass came from. Latched to the side of the house is this bipedal creature with lumpy, grayish-black skin with what appears to be pulsing polyps underneath its skin. The creature's head sits on a long neck, its arms long and clawed at the end. Judy can't help but just stand there, her eyes locked on, horror-stricken in this moment, squeezing Elizabeth tighter as the creature scuttles along the side of the house toward the window with its sharp, hooved feet. As it does, the creature turns towards Judy as it readies its arm to plunge through the window. We see a maddening expression on this creature's face, which is almost featureless, and yet, for a brief moment, the face is recognizable. It's the face of her husband, Jameson, as he smiles at her. Judy lets out a scream as the creature averts its gaze from her and begins to smash through the window as we cut away to Viktor. As you look down the hallway to the sound of something shattering, in your peripheral you see this young boy, the same one from your vision at the Veterans Hospital, start to wrap its arms around Dominik. Viktor, you would see as Dominik pulls this child in for an embrace, who Dom referred to as Hector. You would begin to see these long clawed hands beginning to take shape and the arms of the young boy elongating as they go to plunge into Dominik's back. As you are at these crossroads with the noise down the hall and what is happening here in the room with Dom, what are you doing?
In the heat of this moment, Viktor is going to, not willingly, use one of his abilities. He's going to use Premonition, and he's going to use it on Dominik. I'm assuming Dominik's about to take a mark, so with Premonition, Viktor has a vision of this future, and when he takes that mark, or one of those marks, it will be soaked. So it'll go away. So I think Viktor will kind of get slammed back into his head, look out towards Dominik, and just kind of shout out, "Dominik, it's not what you think!" And he'll start to run over.
Yeah, as you start to run over, Dominik, you look at this boy, your son Hector, in your hands, hearing Viktor call out to you. You still see your son, but the skin itself begins to pale into this dark grayish tone. What does Dom do as he hears that call from Viktor?
"Don't go. I think I would feel the weight of the gun at my side, and like how strange it is to be holding my gun and my son. And I think something might. I just don't know." He's hesitating, and it's not like him at all. And there's something to do with work like this, and with war. but Hector's never been a part of it.
As those thoughts, those feelings flow through your mind, the weight of your gun on your side, hearing Viktor call out, there's almost this moment where you want to continue to hold on, but there's this energy that pulses from Viktor, and it causes your arms to drop as the creature swings wide, missing you. But then you see the body itself begins to elongate more, and it snaps its head over towards Viktor and lunges toward him.
Dominik would suddenly rage to weaponize the image of his son, of his family, and the fact that it knows what my son looks like. I'm going to throw myself in front of Viktor. I'm going to use my ability behind me. I spend one nerve to choose an ally in the same scene who is about to take a mark from a phenomenon. Then describe what you do that allows you to take the mark instead. I want to tackle him, but I don't know what kind of resistance I'm going to be getting from this thing that had taken my son's shape.
So you dive in the way to try and tackle this thing down. Viktor's premonition giving you the chance to not take that mark in this moment, but seeing it lunge towards Viktor, those instincts kick in to protect your squad as you leap towards this creature, using your ability behind me, tackling it to the ground. But as you do, you feel those claws plunge into your back, and you just feel that pulsing dark energy just fill you as you're going to take a body and you're going to take a bleed. So as you tackle it to the ground, Viktor, this happening right in front of you, we are going to cut away from Viktor and Dominik back into the bathroom with Arthur and Marvin as you hear glass shattering as this long, gaunt arm stretches in, these claws almost dripping with bleed as it begins to crawl itself in through the window. You would have heard that scream of a woman faintly in the distance as the creature kind of stretches its head inside through the window, looking at the two of you. And Marvin, you would catch a glimpse of the creature's face as you see your former squad mate Jameson gazing upon you. What are you two doing as this is happening?
Have I heard Viktor call out by now?
Yeah, so with all of this happening, you would have heard Viktor, he wouldn't have called out to you, but you would have heard him yelling at Dominik, saying this is not what he thinks it is.
And it's coming through the window?
Mm-hmm. It is coming through the window.
I'm going to punch it.
Okay, dope. All right, so you're going to run up and punch this thing in the face?
I'm going to try to punch it.
Yeah, Arthur.
I think I would assist with this as well and help give you a drive. I think I'd grab like a copper wash jug or whatever, or a porcelain one, whatever's on the edge of the tub, and just fling it at its face at the same time.
Okay, awesome. All right, so as you go to do this, I will say this is going to be a high stakes roll. You are putting yourself in a pretty dangerous position, coming up to this creature and trying to punch it in the face. So you did get that drive from Marvin. This is going to be a strike roll for you.
All right, so I had none in this, so that drive makes it one flat roll. So we'll see. That is a 4.
Okay, so mixed success. Okay, so as you move towards this creature, fist out, punching in the face as Marvin throws the porcelain at the creature, as you hit it, it takes its hand slashing towards you. As it does, though, it breaks the porcelain container, and shards of it break off and slice across your right cheek on your face pretty deeply as you stumble back, and the creature then, with its other hand, just strikes you backwards onto the floor as you take a body. It gets knocked back a bit, giving you a second to react, but it is beginning to climb back in towards the two of you.
I'll turn to Marvin and say, Marvin, out the bathroom, let's lock it in. Buy ourselves at least a minute.
Sounds good. And I have a little hand puppet that I was using for sales. I'm actually going to throw it back out the window and try to just distract it real quickly as Lee kind of jump backwards through the door and lock it.
You throw it out the window. So go ahead and this is going to be a hide roll for you. So again, we're in a high stakes situation, so there will be consequences for sure if there is a mixed success or a failure.
I will, I'll give Marvin a drive back for this, as I basically am trying to get ahead of it to prop the door open enough for him to run through all in one motion.
Fantastic. All right, give that extra drive.
So this is, with the drive, I have 3 dice, one of them is gilded. Here, catch!
Nice.
The gilded is a 1, there's another 1, and a 6. So I'm going to take the 6.
Holy shit. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you toss it, the creature looks to the side, not entirely sure what you just threw out the window, but you do see that it climbs back out, and you hear it just the crunching of the siding of the house as it leaps down towards it as you shut the door.
It's clearly an attack. We need to get Dom and Viktor out of the house. I think the ladies were already out.
That window, it faced the backyard, didn't it? Isn't that where they were?
They screamed, so I think they're outside.
All right. And I will start running down the hallway and see if I can make it downstairs.
Okay, so you start running down, Arthur and Marvin splitting up. Arthur heading down the stairs to try and find Elizabeth and Judy. Marvin running down the hall towards Elizabeth's room where they heard Viktor in the commotion with Dominik. And that's where we cut back to Dominik and Viktor as you see Dominik on the floor wrestling with this creature, trying to get a handle on it as its claws are plunged into his back and they pull out, trying to scramble away.
Oh, I'm not going to allow that. I am absolutely going to be grappling it again. Going to do a full-on like linebacker rush at
Okay, that'll be a strike roll.
One will be gilded. I want to like seriously do damage, crushing it against the wall behind it. And then if the grip holds, I'm going to squeeze the life out of the thing. So 3 dice, but I'm going to put at least 1 nerve. I can have up to 6 dice, right? I'm going to have 5.
Certainly high stakes. Okay.
There we go. You hear that? A beautiful sound of D6s. Oh, 2 6s, one of which was gilded.
So you get a drive back and a critical success.
Yes.
Okay, Dom, as you wrestle with this creature on the floor, slamming it up against the wall, you hit it so hard that the wall actually concaves in. And as you just stand there, your eyes lock on it as you grab it by its throat and just squeeze harder. You see the eyes that are there begin to bulge out of its head as the creature struggles to try and get free, but you just hold it as the neck begins to just...
I'm trying to wring any similarity it still holds of my son from its being, just wringing the life out of it.
Yeah, you just ring and the face kind of shifts a bit from you see Hector's face begin to fade, and it shifts very quickly to your wife Nora, and then it shifts again to just this featureless face.
It only enrages him more. Oh, he's seething. It's something to witness.
Viktor is just staring wide-eyed from a little bit further, I guess, down the hall now, since Dominik chased after this thing. He's kind of just gawking at Dominik in almost horror as he strangles this thing to death.
As you stand there in the hallway, you would hear the footsteps of Marvin approaching, the sound of Arthur going down the stairs. Marvin, you've reached Viktor, and you would catch Dominik just eyes locked on, almost completely gone, squeezing the life out of this thing.
With that black ichor on his white shirt, dripping from his forearms, probably spattered on his face, back bleeding.
They just came in through the bathroom too. Professor Wright's grabbing ladies and we're gonna get out of here. Come on.
Viktor's gonna stand and wait almost to see what Dominik does next.
What's going on with the thing in my arms before I look up?
As you're squeezing it, Dom, the arms go limp on this creature as it begins to just turn into almost this gelatinous form, slowly becoming liquid and just dripping down your arms.
Well, I'll take that jar from my back pocket and I'll dribble some into it. Arthur's going to be proud of me. And then I'll like wipe the sweat from my brow with my sludgy hands, and it would probably look horrible when I turn around to see Viktor there. And I kind of look guilty. Just mouth working silently for a second before he says anything. Oh, you did a great job in here, Viktor. You really had my back.
Are you okay?
That's a loaded question. Who is in this business? What did I hear down the hall?
That was me. I was just trying to tell you, come on, let's get going. It's a full-blown attack.
As Marvin says that, we cut back downstairs to Arthur, who is running towards the backyard. You would see Judy and Elizabeth running towards you, and the door still open as this creature sees the three of you and starts charging towards the door.
I think as I'm running towards him, I'm going to pull out my 2-shot handgun and trying to take a shot at it, knowing that if I miss, I'm going to try to shoulder charge it to buy them time to get inside.
Okay. Amazing. Okay, Arthur, so as you pull out your gun, your 2-shot, steadying it to fire, but that forward motion as you go, that's going to be a control roll for you, and high stakes, as you can imagine.
Roll 2, take the lowest. Okay. That is a 3.
Okay.
And with that, I'm also going to use the learn from my mistakes to get a drive back. As I go ahead and I'm trying to focus on it, and I can feel trying to aim and run at the same time. For me, aiming is hard enough on its own. I'm trying to almost brace my hand with my other as I run towards it to try to ready the shot, knowing that this is out of my wheelhouse, and I'm punching above my weight class.
All right, so as you go forward, Judy and Elizabeth pass by you. As you charge forward, the creature's still running towards you. Behind you is this glass pane door that is partially open. You go to fire, it misses as the creature gets low on the ground, its body almost contorting in this unnatural way as it leaps towards you and plunges its sharp-hooded feet, kicking you backwards, but plunging into your gut as you are thrown backwards through the door as it shatters, and you land on the ground, taking a body and bleed as you have this wound in your upper abdomen where you feel this burning sensation as bleed starts to get into your bloodstream. As you land on the ground, Judy puts Elizabeth down as she sees the 3 others coming down and tries to go towards Arthur, but the creature is still coming towards you all.
And I see the creature still coming and her running towards me again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hold my hand up for her to stop, and I'm going to try to run at it again.
Okay. All right. So I say at this point, as Arthur picks himself back up and charges towards this creature again, the 3 of you see this as Judy comes back, picking up Elizabeth and runs to the front door. What are the 3 of you doing as you see Arthur charging this creature again?
Viktor is gonna try to help the other 2 get out. He'll follow the mom and try to escort them out of the house safely. Just make sure, like, if there's other creatures outside, if there's anything else, that there's at least someone else there to help fight.
Okay, perfect. So you lead Judy and Elizabeth in her arms out the front door. As you go outside, Viktor, you look around the space. All you see is the carriage is still there. The driver is sitting there. He kind of looks over to you and is confused, not sure what's going on, as the sounds of crashing glass, gunshot is coming from this space as you exit this home.
Where's the daughter again?
The daughter is in Judy's arms.
Okay, she's with Judy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Viktor will go up to the carriage and just have a quick conversation with him and explain.
Do you know where the safest place is from here? Somewhere safe.
Yes, I can get them away. I'll make do right now.
Okay, you need to go and do not answer to anyone. Under no circumstance do you answer.
He just nods to you. Judy and Elizabeth get into the carriage. They look at you. Judy grabs Viktor's by the arm. Thank you. She just looks. She's lost for words.
I just reassure her by laying my hand on top of hers.
Okay. She grasps it and she just pulls Elizabeth in tighter as the carriage takes off, heading in a different direction to somewhere safe. From there, we cut back to inside the McKinley residence, where we see Arthur charging towards this creature again. Dominik and Marvin, you would see this. Arthur, go ahead and make another. This is going to be a strike this time.
I think being basically just thrown back against this wall, not having heard everyone else coming down, thinking it's still just him trying to buy them time, starts running towards them, and at this point almost just throwing his body at it just to buy them a bit more time as he goes out. It is going to be once again with none take the lowest, trying to get Judy and Elizabeth a little more time. That is a 4.
Okay, mixed success. Awesome. As you run towards the creature, the door frame is still there. After it hit you through, as you get up quickly and charge right back towards it, you're able to shut the door enough where it pins both the arms of the creature into the doorway, and you're able to shut it to a point where, like, based on what the body is made of, that almost like this gelatinous like form, you're able to slam the door shut and it pins the arms into the door frame there. It's having a hard time moving, but as you do that, that because it can contort itself in strange ways, one of the legs that you got hit with earlier swings in, and you feel it hit your knee as your knee buckles backwards, and it throws you to the ground about 10 feet backwards as you just hear that, your knee pop as you get thrown back. Dom and Marvin, you see Arthur landing there, this creature struggling to get out of the door frame that it is slammed into on that mixed success.
Dom, can you grab its arms? Can you try to do the same thing? I'm gonna try and sneak behind it real quick.
I've got my 44 out. I'm gonna go in shooting. In fact, I'm gonna use my sharpshooter ability and try to blow those arms clean off. So I spend 1 nerve and I get 2 dice. This will be
Control. High stakes, my friend. High stakes, Dominik.
You know what? I just gotta drive back. I'm just gonna use it. Okay, 4 die. It's a good thing because I only got a 4.
As you take your gun and ready it, you look towards it, steadying yourself. As it struggles to get loose, you see its face begin to shift back to your son, Hector, as it struggles.
Dad, help! Dad!
As you fire, it hits the arms enough where it splinters the wood where it breaks out, removing one of the arms of the creature as it stumbles backwards and begins to retreat. But as that happens, you're going to take a brain.
Yeah, at least. I'm charging in.
At this point, it's retreating. You would see the black ichor just dripping out of its arm as it runs towards the hedges in the back of the yard and begins climbing up it and is about to leap off. So I will say you can make another roll to try and hit it to see if you can take it down. But as you get ready to fire your shot, we'll shift back to Marvin.
I'm gonna run over to Arthur. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think my knee's not good, but hey, it's not it's not bad for a man that didn't serve, is it? You saw it. I totally hit him the first time, kind of.
You did great. Let's get you out of here.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna last another second with that thing.
They made it out, right, Judy, Elizabeth?
I think so. Victor grabbed them immediately.
Okay, help me up.
And I'm just gonna kind of let Arthur lean on me, and I'm just gonna prop him up and start walking him out the front door. I'm hoping the carriage is still there, but I don't know that it's already gone.
Yeah, so as you begin helping Arthur up, bringing them to the door, as you open it, you see Victor standing at the end of the walkway that leads to the road, and they're beginning to walk back towards you, the carriage no longer there. Victor, you would see Marvin bringing out Arthur. You see a gash in his stomach, his upper abdomen, and you would see his knee is maybe dislocated or something worse as you see them coming out the front door. But Dom nowhere to be seen.
Dom's trying to finish off the creature. I think there's only 2 of them.
Should I go back in?
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. Where's the carriage?
It went off. I didn't ask for a specific location. I just told him to go somewhere safe.
Okay, I'm just gonna try and get Arthur out of here as quick as possible.
As Marvin sets Arthur down, sitting there at the front porch on the steps, as the adrenaline begins to wear off, we see Arthur collapse to the ground as he has taken 4 bodies and will be taking a scar.
Hey, don't go out on me.
Yeah, just make him safe. Just out.
And I'm gonna try and bring out my amulet and just kind of, as best as I can, rub it over his forehead. As he's just kind of sitting there, his head on my lap.
Okay. As you hold the amulet there, you see it begin to glow, and while Arthur doesn't immediately wake up, you can certainly sense that it is beginning to do what it's meant to do. As we cut away from Marvin and Arthur, Victor, you charging forward as Dom has the pistol up, trying to shoot this thing before it gets over the fence.
Now, it's too far away that I can't rush it, right? Like I did the last one?
Yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to rush it this time.
Okay.
No, you have to shoot it or it gets away.
The only thing is, just for half a heartbeat, Dominik really wanted to use his bayonet/dagger on the thing and get it close. He doesn't have the option. So fire off a few more rounds, whatever's left. And that will be a control roll. Oh man, I gotta use some more drives.
Yep, that will be a control. Yeah, this is a big roll. High stakes.
I'm using 2 drive, so 3 dice. Yes, 6.
Okay, you steady your pistol, and this time you focus, taking in that breath, and with a shot, goes off, the bullet hitting true. As the creature is climbing up over the hedge, over the fence, it looks back and the bullet strikes it right where its forehead would be and just explodes out as it falls behind the fence, crashing on the ground and almost bending unnaturally. Part of its lower torso still hanging on the fence.
Dominik is going to rush it, make sure it's dead with his bayonet in a sheath on his ankle.
Okay, awesome. So as you run over, you pull out your bayonet going towards this creature. Victor, you would see Dom charging forward at this point as you reach the door to the backyard.
I think Victor will run over to where Dom is, not really understanding what's fully going on yet, to then run up and see Dom just go at this thing.
Okay.
And I think Victor kind of has his pocket knife up, but he sees Dom has a handle on the situation again and isn't really sure that he should jump in.
Okay, so as you sit back and observe, still gauging when to jump in, if you need to jump in, Dom, as you reach this creature, your bayonet in your hand, is Dom saying anything out loud? What's going on?
He's seething. He's like stalking it, and through his teeth, he says, "You keep their faces off you. You don't sully their memories like this. You've already taken enough from me. They're not yours." And yeah, I don't know if the thing is writhing there and still moving. Even if it isn't, I'm going to make sure it won't again.
Yeah, as you reach it, it does not appear to be moving. It is starting to turn. It still has somewhat of a gelatinous form to it, but it is beginning to turn to that dark ichor.
Okay. If the gelatinous stuff gets on any leaves or anything, maybe that'll help, see how it reacts to vegetation. I'll put that in another vial. I have a couple here, the bleed containment vials.
Victor stares just for a second and then gets down on his knees with him.
Do you need any help?
Of course, Dominik is dripping with it, and he says, "Be careful, Victor, don't get any of this on you."
I would say the same, but it.
Yeah, can't unring this bell.
Victor pulls out a little vial out of his side pocket and puts a little handkerchief around it, and I think he puts it under Dominik's arm to catch maybe some dripping off into the vial.
Do you mind not moving too much?
Dominik aims his dripping elbow for him.
So is this what we always do on these kind of missions? We collect this kind of stuff?
It's this one's a little bit special, but in a nutshell, yeah.
I mean, how do you even research into this? How do you test it? Do we light it on fire and...
I don't know, better brains than mine take care of that. That's something to ask Arthur. I'm just the muscle around here.
That reminds me, we should probably go out. Last I saw, he didn't look too good. He might want to get somewhere where he can get patched up.
But Judy and Lizzie are safe, right?
Yes, I sent them away on a carriage. I don't know exactly where they went. I just told them to go.
All right, well... I'm sure Arthur knows where they're going.
Hey, before we get up and well, I guess we could talk as we walk, but I wanted to mention something that I saw earlier today.
Okay.
When we were at the hospital, I did not know how to... It was a very personal situation for you, and I didn't want to step in, so me and Arthur did not go out for just a smoke break. I saw something earlier in the day, and I think I saw you and Hector. I think you said I think I saw Hector. It wasn't like this. It was like a spirit. But what confused me is that you were there, and you looked hollow, looked very tired and gone. He was in a wheelchair. He was being pushed around by another woman or doctor. I'm not quite sure, but I don't know. I don't know what I saw, but I know I should have told you, and I was just looking for a moment.
Do you get these visions a lot?
I do. They vary from what exactly I see. Sometimes it is spirits, sometimes it's premonitions. It's kind of a variety. But
And I was wasting away?
I think so. Did this happen to you after?
No,
Okay, well,
no. Nothing like that.
maybe just keep an eye out. I don't know if what I saw was the future or a alternate future, but it didn't look well.
Did you tell Arthur about this? He knows this stuff.
I mean, I did.
He's helping me look into this stuff. Did you talk to him about it yet?
Kind of. He saw me do it. We didn't necessarily go over everything, but yeah, he had witnessed.
Wait, we had that whole ride over here since then. You guys didn't think to mention it to me?
It just didn't feel right. I was just looking for a better moment, and you had just had that conversation. I wanted some time to pass.
Yeah, where I have time to relax and be torn apart by his huge chest is heaving just a little bit. He's trying to keep his cool. He thumbs at his sidearm and checks the snap. Make sure the safety's on. Just idly. Okay, let's go talk to Arthur.
Viktor will just nod his head silently and get up and get ready to start walking. Kind of brushes his pants off.
As Dom and Viktor head back to the front porch of the McKinley residence, we shift our focus back to Marvin and Arthur. Arthur is still unconscious, Marvin holding the amulet on his forehead as he sits there, Arthur's head in his lap.
I kind of brush the hair out of Arthur's face as I'm kind of beginning to try to channel the amulet. And I go, thank you, Arthur. I don't even think you knew what you were protecting. I know you know what I have, but you don't even know that they're coming after this. And you may not be the only one that gets hurt, but they definitely can't have it. They're only going to hurt people with it, and I do such good things with it, and I don't think it's right for anyone else to have it. And thank you. Sorry I can't tell you that in person. And with that, I don't think I've ever done this before, because I've only ever kind of used it not on a living creature outside of myself, and just kind of used it to help with making potions and little tinctures. I've never quite fully tested what it does with another person. Kind of want to channel it and kind of press that field of energy that comes off of it and press that into Arthur's forehead as he lays there. The amulet is a rather large circular bronze amulet there's got to be at least 20 layers of different markings and runes that are almost incomprehensible, and they kind of get lined up. And the couple runes that lined up properly are the ones that Marvin's learned to use for healing with a potion. And I think they're going to default to using the same ones on Arthur.
Okay. As you place it there, shifting the layers to reach that point that you know offers healing, there's a light hum that comes from the amulet as this unknown energy, whatever gives it its power, as it begins to hum a little bit louder. Arthur, you would feel your knee itself would feel less achy. You would feel consciousness coming back to you as your eyes open to see Marvin holding this upon your forehead.
I got him, right, Marvin? I got him?
You did. You definitely did. And I think actually Viktor said that Judy and Elizabeth are safe too.
Gives out a sigh, just kind of leans back more, and he's like, all right, as long as everyone's good, can you, do you mind trying to help me out?
Absolutely. And I'm going to tuck the amulet well away, hoping that he hasn't picked up on it, and kind of just prop him up as he kind of comes to.
I think my eyes coming to from everything are still, it's kind of that trying to focus, a little bit of blurry. Just the first priority his thoughts went to was, is everyone good and did I get him? So I don't think I saw it in the slightest.
Here, just go slow. Blood's gonna rush to your head if you go too fast.
All right, well, let's go see if they need help in the back. And I'll have one arm over Marvin's shoulders.
No, I don't think so. I think we're just gonna start seeing if we can get a carriage.
Nope. We need to help them, Marvin. And I'll pull out my 2-shooter. We need to walk that way. Just slowly.
It definitely is achy as you stand on it. It buckles at first a bit, but then you steady yourself. And as you do, you would see Dom in Viktor, meeting the two of you.
Oh, thank God. He didn't want to, let you two be alone.
I think we are mostly okay.
Dominik is dripping, like the arms of his shirt are just drenched. It's all greasy black, oily on his hands. The front of his shirt is all messed. His pants. His hair is ridiculously out of place. Let's get back.
Viktor, you said you didn't know where you sent Judy and Elizabeth to, right?
Yeah, I know. I should have perhaps asked for some sort of location, but I just told the driver to go somewhere safe. I told them not to answer to anyone and just to go. But I can try to find them.
Oh, it's okay. As long as they got out, it's not really a big deal. They'll make their way back. Are we gonna go to the lighthouse, or?
Viktor, was it the same carriage driver that you came here with?
I think so. He
had the stubbly beard and the weird hat.
Yeah, the weird hat definitely rings a bell.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was actually quite weird.
Like weirder than normal. Kind of like the point of him kind of feels like it's all about the hat.
I don't like to judge on people, and I know we're kind of in a crazy situation right now, but it was not a normal hat.
Yeah, okay. They should be fine. If I'm gonna take my bets, he probably took them back to the lighthouse, so I think they're okay. I wouldn't stress too much about it. The knee really hurts. I'm gonna be honest. So it kind of buckles again. Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a carriage ride, to be perfectly honest, if we can get another one. And Dom, can you try to pop it back in when we're riding by any chance?
Yeah, I know how to do that one.
Are you okay sitting in the carriage if we have to go check on David and Alejandro? I'm worried they might be...
Oh, I'll be fine to walk. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
You're taking this really well, and I'm a little worried.
I think, I think it's the bodily, self-creating drugs that is making it not hurt so much. So let's chalk this up to some false confidence, and we'll see how I'm feeling after Dom handles my knee.
As you collect yourselves on the front porch of the McKinley residence, in a short time, you're able to hail a carriage. It does require you to walk to one of the main roads that intersect this suburb here, but you're able to find a carriage and heading towards Alejandro's or David's apartment. Both of them do live in the Staves district, which is on the opposite side of town.
I think with everything that's gone down, I think we'd want to head there. To the Staves district.
Dominik will wash off his hands as best he can, and then say, "All right, Arthur, let me have a look at this knee, soldier."
Soldier? You flatter me, Dominik. And I'll go ahead and stick out my knee to him.
He's got to roll up the pant leg. All right, when I bend it like this, how's that?
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 of pain.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna twist it and pull it on 3.
Yeah, you're a doctor, right? Like you've been trained for this, right?
Bite down on something? Totally. Oh, I've seen things like this more than you want to know.
I'll go ahead and just stick kind of my knuckles in my mouth and just kind of nod to Dominik.
Okay. 1, snap.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Didn't even feel it. Go ahead and just start flexing my knee around.
It feels a lot better, surprisingly. A little moment of blacking out and getting your knee reset, and you feel a little bit better. It aches, but it's tolerable.
And Dominik doesn't say anything about the slashes on his back that are still bleeding. He's not one to complain.
So were we going to David's? Anyone have a preference?
They were all pictured on that crazy drawing.
What drawing?
Oh, it was at the back of Lizzie's closet. I think it was all of them, and all their faces, like Jimmy's.
What, you're saying they have no faces anymore?
The drawings changed in front of my eyes.
Does that mean the creatures are already there?
I don't know. Does this carriage go any faster?
We can go to Alejandro's first. I think it's first along the way.
I should have brought a change of clothes. This is going to be alarming for them to see, but there's no helping it.
All right. So carriage is going at a decent pace as you make your way across town to the Staves district. Before arriving, I want to make sure I open the door too. As Victor's sitting there, is Viktor doing anything as these conversations are happening?
I think Viktor is, again, in a situation where he doesn't know quite how to insert himself into this group dynamic. Like he's seeing that these people have done this before. They kind of have an easier way of talking to each other maybe and discussing like where they would want to go next. And Viktor doesn't necessarily even know where to begin with that. He's just kind of trying to find his way around this like social situation and this group dynamic. So I think he's sitting silently and kind of like bouncing his leg nervously, just trying to find out what to do. And he also feels bad about the situation with Dominik. He's thinking to himself that maybe he should have said something sooner. And he's just, I think, worried that maybe he ruined something there. And so he'll kind of just take a moment and sit back and look out the window as they ride on.
Probably sensing that a little bit, I would have a little conversation. Viktor, I can tell you're a little bit uncomfortable. Did you sense anything?
No, it was crazy, but nothing like I usually sense. I'm still adjusting to all of this. I'm no stranger to seeing monsters, but talking is kind of hard for me.
That's an odd one to have trouble with, but maybe we can help. We're not really, great at this, but we're pretty useful for the lighthouse, I think. And we kind of all just make it work as we go along, so don't feel awkward at all.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I have a lot of time left. I think I'm pulling on the end of my own string, and I just want to make the most of the time I have left. I want to make an impact, and I don't know. I just don't want to waste the time that I have.
Why do you think you don't have long to live? Did you work in the coal mines?
I never worked in the coal mines, but it's kind of a long story, and it's I don't know. I feel like every day that goes by, I feel like I'm losing myself.
You probably should have had those sandwiches.
You know, I'm actually not even a big sandwich guy, but maybe I could have had one. I don't want to get in the way.
Do you think it's not normal? Is it just health and you just need to eat?
No, I eat. I do. I don't eat maybe as much as I should, but I eat. It's like a shadow that's not my shadow, constantly looming behind me. And no matter what I try to do, what I try to research, the shadow grows. And at first it was small, it was quick, it was nothing. And now it feels like something is pulling me under. It's like a family curse or something.
Have you heard of anything like this, Professor Wright? And sorry if you've already asked.
Just still reeling a little bit from the knee. About what specifically? To be honest, I was trying to give you a bit of privacy in the conversation. It's a small cabin.
Viktor's curse, if it's a family curse or a shadow sucking the life out of him? I think that's what you said.
Geez, we better work fast. Looks like they're almost done.
Yeah, this is your grandmother, right? That's where it started, if I'm remembering our conversations correctly.
I think it goes beyond that. I don't know. My grandmother didn't talk to me much about it. It was kind of her own personal struggle. But I think it went beyond her, and it usually is with the women in my family. But after she passed, it came to me.
Viktor, I know our discussions about it, we've had many, but I know we haven't really had too much time to go too in depth in it. But when we have the time, we can get back to my office at some point, and I'll show you the books and what I've been able to find on it. But I think, Viktor, there's things in life that we don't have control over, and it's kind of this overwhelming feeling, and that's scary to not have control over it. But try to think of it as a liberating factor as well, or something you don't have control over is not yours necessarily to manage. It is simply there. And you find yourself now in a cabin of people that, not to speak for all of us, but at least me, would step in the way to protect you if necessary. So, for now, take it day by day. We'll figure out the rest when we get there, and we'll figure it out together.
I'm very grateful.
Now, not to ruin the moment, but do you have any smokes? It might help with the pain.
Oh, yeah, I keep them on me all the time.
And Viktor will immediately just pull one out and kind of lay it out in front of everyone to allow them each to grab one.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
They are just regular tobacco. I don't really delve into glimmer and stuff. I'm not sure if anyone here is into that, but I just stick with the regular cigarettes.
Well, you know what they say, cigarettes are good for your health.
I don't think...
I'll go ahead and grab one, pop it in my mouth.
I didn't know you could smoke glimmer. I wonder.
My friend Philip, he didn't smoke it, but he always had it near his cigarettes.
I don't think I want to try that.
I'm not going to have one, thank you, though. I end up coughing too much.
It's kind of like a skill you pick up, except it's a skill that kills you, but...
We figured it out then. That's your curse.
Yeah, I don't think the cigarettes are helping, but, at this point, it's like, what is going to help, so I smoke.
I don't judge, it's okay.
Viktor will kind of take a moment to himself, and then he'll look back at Arthur, and he'll say,
What did you say about cigarettes? They are healthy for you?
That they're good for you? Yeah, they're healthy for you. That's what the advert said.
But you are a professor. Mm-hmm. And they're bad.
They're bad? What?
Well, no, I don't know.
Viktor, you can't make up lies like this.
Well, the advertisements say they're good.
You can't be making up lies like this. It's a bad look.
4 out of 5 doctors smoke these.
See, Dominik knows what's
It says
up.
here right on the package.
He's a doctor's. Dominik's basically a doctor himself. Did you see what he did with my knee?
That was pretty impressive. I wouldn't know how to do that.
I'm gonna try to cheers my cigarette with Dom. To good health.
Yeah, I'm in. Takes a nice long pull. Smooth.
As you all enjoy your healthy cigarettes, also listeners, smoking's bad.
0 out of 10 shouldn't smoke. Bad influence. Don't do it.
Yeah, but in this time, smoking's cool. So we cut back as we arrive. We arrive in the Staves district here. You would see this part of Nevermore has quite the juxtaposition between the vigilance of the Sentinel precinct that resides here in the Staves district and the Mirror Creek landfill that borders what would be, you could consider, a shanty town where the city's most vulnerable and lost citizens dwell on this fringe part of society here. As the carriage arrives at the apartment building, you see precariously hanging electrical wires hovering above the city streets. The building itself where Alejandro lives is in need of repairs. You know that Alejandro lives on the first floor as you start to get out of the carriage to head into this building.
If we think they're already here, how do we want to approach this?
Probably knocking. I mean, can you climb up the side of the building to enter into the window?
Oh, I meant the monsters. Well, he's on the first floor. I just don't want to, walk ourselves into another situation back at Jameson's house.
You're right to be careful. Does any signs of entry or anything?
On the outside, there are no forceful entries, nothing like that. The windows all look normal. And it is mid-afternoon at this point, so you would start to see some of the windows are illuminated, including Alejandro's.
Wish I brought an extra shirt.
I guess let's just go slow. Do you have any more bullets in there, Tom?
I reloaded, yes.
Wow, I almost called you Sergeant. It's been a while since we've been in this kind of mode.
Has been a while. I just don't want to be the face that is at the door, what with the mess that's going on right now. So I'll stay at the end of the walk or at the end of the porch, whatever I can see there.
No, come on in with us just in case, but I'll go first then. He knows me.
I can be right behind you. I guess looking at everybody else, I guess I am in the best condition.
And also, Arthur, I know you're going to say no, but let Dom help you if you insist on coming in. Or you can stay in the carriage.
I'm going to be coming in, so just however you want to handle that yourself, you can handle that. But I'm going.
I offer my arm after you.
Ooh, very regal today, aren't we? I'll go ahead and take a step out.
I was going to start heading up to the door of the apartment building and try see if it will open.
Yeah, so as you look at the apartment building, there is a main entryway at the front. There's a double door to enter in. You would walk through the front door there and take a left to head down a couple doors until you reach Alejandro's. As you enter in, the apartment building is eerily quiet. You would see the spotty electrical work that was installed here is causing a few of the electrical powered lights to flicker as you approach Alejandro's door. Before you reach the door, you do notice that it is partially open.
All right, get behind me.
That's not a good sign. Okay. I'll switch off. I'll Just prop up Arthur for the time being. Not really like helping him walk, but just kind of standing there, let him prop against me.
So Dominik has this bayonet in his left hand, kind of reverse grip so the blade is along his forearm, and he has his 44 in his other hand. Leans his right shoulder into the door, looks in and opens the door at the same time.
All right.
Ready for anything.
As you lean in, you see this minimalistic bachelor pad with little furniture in it, but you would immediately notice there was a struggle here. You see furniture is torn to shreds. There is blood on the floor that leads to where the bedroom would be found.
All right. Is it a clear path to the bedroom?
It is a clear path to the bedroom. It's through a small doorway into this hallway that one part of it goes to the bedroom and then the other part to the bathroom.
Okay.
But you would see the blood trail is clearly going to the left.
Okay. All right. I look back at everyone and I direct my chin toward the blood without saying a word. I let the door swing the rest of the way open. I enter, walking slowly along the path of blood, head on a swivel.
Okay.
Not going to call out.
As you follow the blood trail, Dom, informing the rest of your group what you're doing, you would find leading up as you cross to that threshold of the door, you would see in the bedroom the light on, leaning up against the wall, David with Alejandro in his arms. You would see this large gash across Alejandro's stomach and their face gone. David would look up to the group, looking worse for wear. You see a man about the same age as Dominik, light skin, short blonde hair with a clean shaven face. He's wearing just simple slacks and a dark blue long sleeve wool shirt with the sleeves rolled up. You can see that his clothing is covered in blood and dark ichor.
Sarge, I couldn't save him. Those things, I thought the war was over.
They followed us back, David. Did you see it?
Yeah, I got a few shots off on it, enough to get it out of here, but they got him. I tried.
David.
Yeah.
You saw it leave?
Yeah.
Where did it go?
It ran out through the front. I didn't chase after it.
And you see he releases his grip on Alejandro and just rests him up against the wall, and you see that there's these massive puncture wounds in David's side, and he's holding it there, and there's just blood pooling up.
I wasn't sure if I chased after it. I'm sorry, Sarge.
How much of a head start does it have?
I was like, it's been probably 15, 20. I don't know. It's probably gone.
As I kind of approach that room and kind of tail into this conversation, I want to look at David and kind of just watch his body language. Is it something I'm familiar with? And I'll call out to Dom and I'll go, Dom, didn't you say David had his face gone too?
I'm trying hard to remember.
And I want to see David's reaction to this.
As you say that, he would say,
What are you talking about? My face is right here.
and he rubs his hands along his chin.
Can I make a read check to see if he's lying?
Sure. Yeah, you can make a read roll for me.
I have 1 dice in this, not gilded.
I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down.
It's a 5.
So a mixed success.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As you look at David, you would see someone that you know. It's hard to tell if he's shaken up, if something's off about him. Can't quite pin it. Reliving stuff from the war can be hard on people sometimes, and it's hard to exactly know what he's feeling in this moment with that mixed success.
David, I think something's not right. Can we get you checked out?
Yeah, Marvin, do you remember how to stitch? Can you stitch me up? Imagine Alejandro has some supplies in here.
I so don't trust him right now. I won't do it.
Dom puts his hand on your shoulder anyway.
I'm not very good at that. Sergeant Dom can usually do that better than I can.
Yeah. Why don't you get the bleed detector?
Yeah. I'm gonna absolutely do that. I'm just gonna sit over here and if you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at you, David.
I'm gonna take out my bleed detector, and I'm definitely looking at David through it, and I'm definitely letting Viktor and Arthur see. I'm kind of indicating what I'm doing.
Okay. Viktor and Arthur, you would hear Marvin pulling out their bleed detector. What are the two of you doing in this moment?
Viktor is just slowly looking out of the corner of his eye, seeing what Marvin is doing, kind of slowly starting to understand, and will carefully and discreetly start to withdraw his pocket blade in his fist. Not yet flipped out all the way, just in his fist, just in case this goes ugly.
I think almost on the exact same wavelength of Viktor, I'm going to kind of, turn my back to Marvin and Dominik and kind of face Viktor, trying to get a little bit in the way of the eyesight there to block Viktor pulling out his weapon, almost like I'm turning to tell him something, as I kind of just hover my hand over my own pistol for a second, just kind of trying to listen and see.
Okay. All right. So as you listen and see, you pull out the bleed detector. David kind of picks himself up.
He probably's got stuff down in the bathroom.
No, just don't move, David.
All right.
Yeah, so as you pull out the bleed detector, you would see bleed on him, but you would also see remnants on Dominik from earlier.
Okay, but nothing, like no distortion on his face.
Yeah.
I'm more looking at him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Does everything look okay with him?
Yeah, go to make, I'm going to say a sense roll. And I will say high stakes.
Okay, I have 2, no gilded. I am going to spend actually 2 drive as well.
Okay.
Ooh. 2 1s, a 2, and a 4. So
a mixed success. Yeah, I mean, as you look at him with the bleed detector, from what you can see with that, he appears normal. As you look at David, where you hold the amulet, you would feel it start to burn. And I'm going to say you take a body from that as it sears into your skin with all of this bleed in the room and pulling out this bleed detector and focusing and trying to channel to discern this. Being around all of it is almost giving it more power.
I'm going to hop up and kind of get out of that space. It looks like you're not too terribly injured, I guess. Yeah, I think Sergeant Dom can just get you fixed up.
Yeah? Everything's copacetic? Great.
I'm going to hop out of that space, though. I don't know why my amulet is going off, and I can't go reach for it, so...
Okay. It does start to fade as you leave, yeah.
I think hearing Marvin kind of give that little bit of ease of mind there as I took it, seeing Dominik kind of almost be like, oh, okay. I'm going to take my hand off, pretty much turn to him and be like, you know, we've had a really bad day. You know, I'm happy to hear that you're at least okay. And I'll start walking up to Dom.
Okay.
Okay. That's enough reason to pause. He's getting mixed messages. If I have my sidearm put away, I still have the knife in my other hand.
Okay. Yeah, as you kind of get up and approach Arthur, Dom's still in this defensive position. David would still be holding his side.
Did you... when it was attacking Alejandro, it mentioned... You remember that trench we were in, that chasm, and that thing Marvin found there? And there was there was like a obelisk.
Yeah.
We need to destroy it.
What? Why are you bringing that up now?
We need to destroy that.
Yeah, I think destroying the obelisk is correct. That's definitely okay to do. I mean, it's probably an evil artifact or something.
Can I pull out my little journal and kind of walk off to the corner of the room over by Viktor again and see if I can find anything about an obelisk?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you go over to the corner of the room and pull out your notes, there would be some information in reference to what David had just said. At certain sites where rifts would open after the unfolding, when the emergence war began, a lot of the sites where these voidspawn creatures would be released would oftentimes have these obelisks.
Do I get an inkling of what might happen if an obelisk were destroyed?
You would know that it would, in fact, close that specific area's rift. But you would also find in your notes there that over time, they could expand in size and open larger rifts beyond the veil.
I'll go ahead and kind of read those notes out loud to the room for everyone to hear and kind of end it off with, I think David's probably going to be on the right thought process here. It's probably be the best decision to close it.
Okay. Well, certainly glad you are here, David.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys made it here too.
All right, and then Dom will set to patching them up best he can.
I think Viktor will go up to Arthur and quickly just have a quick one-on-one with him.
So these people, they're good?
Who are you referring to by these people?
Well, David and Alejandro.
I mean, to be honest, I probably have as much authority on their morality as you do here. But, I mean, considering one of them's dead from the thing we fought and one of them's not dead, I'm gonna at least say they're on our side.
What did you think I meant?
You know, I'm kind of a little out of it. I'll be honest, Viktor. I don't know if you knew this, but that was probably one of only 2 times in my life I've actually fought. So my mind's a little bit frazzled at the moment. I don't know, to be honest.
No, I get it. So next moves? What are we thinking?
It looks like we're probably going to, kind of flipping through pages, hunt down an obelisk of some form. Something about rifts on this. It's going to be a center point for it, and I guess if we destroy it, it's going to help to close it down and hopefully prevent some of those creatures from coming through. As far as David here and Alejandro, it's unfortunate, but I think they're just kind of a casualty at this point. If Dom can help David, great. If not, to put it very, very impersonally, I guess we'll have to add him to the list to be remembered.
Okay,
How are you feeling, Viktor?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I thought we were going to get into like another brawl, so I was kind of jumpy, but I guess I'm starting to relax. To be honest, I feel really bad. I didn't mean to withhold the information from Dominik about what we saw for so long, but I think I hurt him.
Well, we'll find a good time to tell him. We'll tell him together, and we'll kind of find the best way to word it after all this is over.
Well, I mean, I did tell him.
What do you mean? What do you mean you told him? I thought we talked about it.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole be careful when we tell him who he's around, what mental state he's in kind of thing.
Yeah, I told him when he was like just finished shooting and stabbing, and he was like drenched in ooze, and okay, yeah, that wasn't a good time.
Yeah, you kind of hear it as you're saying it, right? Like, probably the timing of that conversation.
I don't know. I just felt right. I felt like I was holding it in for so long, and it was a private moment, and I'm very bad at like the interacting part of this.
Don't feel bad about it. You know, some will say there's better and worse times for honesty, but nonetheless, I'd rather someone always be honest with me than not. So, you did the right thing. Well, how about this? You're better with some of the fighting, if you'd be kind enough. I mean, you can teach me some of that, and I'll teach you maybe about timing for traumatic event disposals and sayings and such.
Okay, like, how do I recuperate my losses with Dominik? What makes them happy?
What makes them happy? All right, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'll kind of pull them off to the side. Words and Dominik, they're a double-edged sword. He's a very, very kind man, but he's also very, very, very scary. And sometimes the scariness, there's like a blurred line when he's in the moment. So how about, try to do that camaraderie thing, bonding and sacrifice and duty. I think that'll help. I'm not very good at that, as you can see. And I'll motion towards the big scar on my cheek. It's not really my thing, but honesty. And I think even if he's mad in the moment, he'll be happy you were honest with him. Give him a day. You didn't tell him like you told me, and I didn't tell him, though, right? Just to be sure?
Sure.
Okay, good. And here I thought I was going to get completely blindsided in a conversation with him, where I've very clearly decided to lie by omission during this entire time. So.
Okay.
No. You don't need to. It's okay. It's a net positive, Viktor. You were honest. He's going to love that. Just give him some time. And overall, whole situation turned out pretty good. All right. Go ahead, give him a clap in the back and say, good job today. We're doing good stuff, Viktor. Now, let's go fight a demon obelisk, I think.
I think both.
As we shift away from Arthur and Viktor here, over to Marvin, who has stepped away after feeling that burning sensation coming from the amulet. What is Marvin doing?
Yeah, so I kind of stepped away, just to kind of like catch my breath, let things kind of calm down where I was feeling that pain. And as I heard David, because I'm in the other room, as I heard him kind of re-explaining about the thing I found, or at least briefly kind of hinting at that, I interjected about destroying the obelisk to try to kind of hide it. I was also gonna test going back into the room at the doorway. David, why were you with Alejandro today?
One of those things came to my apartment, and I just remember fighting them on the battlefield with you all, and Alejandro was close, and I decided I'd come check on him, and I was too late when I got here.
So you fought off one at your house and then one here?
Yeah, I got the one at my place, but not this one, unfortunately.
And you killed it?
Yeah.
What happened to its body? Is it still at your house?
It just turned into black goo.
Oh, I guess that makes it easy. How did you get a conversation with the creature so that you know that, like, we need to destroy the obelisk?
As you say this, the amulet begins to burn on your leg again. Not as bad as before.
I'm just going to take a couple steps back. As soon as it starts doing, I'm like, obviously David's pinging something off of this.
As you do, Dom, you're patching up David at this point, like looking down as you were working on stitching up his wounds.
And I'm still running on the assumption that, David was cool because Marvin didn't say anything against my going to patch him up.
Yeah, so Marvin, as you step back, you would see the creature start to take form as only part of its body is visible. You would see David still kind of there, hold up a gun to Dom's head.
Immediately, I go, "What amulet?" And I throw my smoke bomb. Like, I light it and chuck it right in the room.
That is going to be, I guess, what is your goal with throwing the smoke bomb in here?
I have no idea. It may be running. It may be trying to help Dom. I have no clue yet.
Okay.
It is to hide where I am.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'll say go ahead and make a hide roll for me. And I'll say high stakes. We are picking back up again.
So I have 2 dice. One's gilded.
Okay.
Ooh. I rolled a 2 and a 5. 2 on the gilded. I'm going to spend both my cunning to do a flourish. So as I light this smoke bomb, I'm going to flourish and get a full success.
Amazing. That flourish is so dope. Okay, so yeah, as you throw that smoke bomb in, Dom, you would see the smoke bomb coming towards you. And you have seen Marvin use this before. As you hear that click of a gun up to your head, and you see David just like body starting to contort in these strange ways. Still a humanoid hand that holds a gun to you, but it distracts them as it goes to fire at Marvin. It misses Marvin, but gives you a moment to act as a smoke bomb starts to fill the room here.
Get out!
I'm going to punch my dagger. It's a reverse hold on the dagger, so the point is aimed towards my elbow. I'm going to punch across his neck and do his best to sever the thing.
Okay, I'm going to add a countdown dice for this guy. I'm going to start it at a 3, so your goal is to get it down. As you go to plunge the dagger into this creature, into what was David, as it continues to contort and change, as the smoke begins to fill the room, Marvin telling you to run, go ahead and make a strike for me. High stakes, it is still holding the gun.
Okay, so I got it gilded, got 3 dice. I have 2 drives left.
Okay.
I'll use one of them. 4 dice, 1 gilded. 4, not gilded.
Okay, that's a mixed success, so it does go down by 1. As you go and plunge it into the creature's neck, its other hand that's not holding the gun grabs your hand, and you do slice it across, and it starts to leak some dark ichor from its neck as the face becomes almost featureless. But David's arm is still humanoid, and Dom, with a mixed success in this high stake roll, the gun goes off. As you get shot in your torso, the bullet does exit through the back, but you're gonna take, you're gonna take 1 body.
Okay. I only have 1 left, so I'm glad when you teetered, you ended up going with the 1 instead of the 2 you're considering.
Yeah, I was like, you had a mixed success. I was like, this is kind of, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so so the gun goes off. Arthur, Viktor, the smoke starts to fill the room. You see Marvin bolting, Dom still in there. You hear a gunshot go off as the smoke fills the room. What are you 2 doing?
Oh God. Okay. Victor's gonna stay. Victor's gonna pull out his knife, fully unfurl it now, and start to try to wave through this smoke to find where the hell everybody else is.
Okay, so you're heading in?
I'm heading in.
Okay, so as you head into the smoke, as it fills the room, trying to pin down where they're at, you just hear like this sound you feel like just this strange energy pulsing in this room. You would see quick silhouettes in the smoke, these shadows, this shifting. As you step in, you're trying to track them down. I'll let you roll either a sense or a survey as you try and find where they are within this room as the smoke fills it.
I will do a sense.
Okay.
And I'll add a drive. It'll be a total of 3 dice. One of them gilded roll. I got a 1 and a 1 and a 5.
So a mixed success. Okay, all right, awesome. So with a mixed success, Viktor, that's going to drop it down by 1 more. As you do find the creature, you have your pocket knife in your hand. You see it is trying to pin Dom down to the ground. It's still holding the gun in one hand, but as you get close and finding it, navigating through the smoke-filled room here, plunging your pocket knife into it, it retches back, but as it does so, it almost bends backward in this unnatural way. And as it does, one of its legs comes back and plunges down in your shoulder as you take a body from the creature, but you give Dom a chance to get up and go after this creature.
Yeah, I am gonna grapple this one too. It's a much more passionate kill than is characteristic for him. He wants to get in close and do it because he's just taking it so personally. How they're taking the faces of anyone he's ever cared about.
We gotta get out. Is there anywhere in this room to hide, by the way? In this second room?
Oh yeah, you're in like that main kind of living space. The like single seater couch is flipped over. Marvin, they're small enough where you could hide behind that, no problem.
I think they want me. They want something. Can you, shoot it if it comes out?
Dominik's up there, isn't he?
Yeah, there's smoke in the room. You can't shoot into the room right now. You're likely to hit Dom.
I look at him and almost look at him with pity as he's viewing this as pure abandonment of who he thought his friends were up there. And he'll look at him and make his way into the smoke, even just knowing he can't shoot, just fists at the ready, trying to take a swing when he can find it.
Okay, all right, so as you head into the smoke with your other 2 companions, Marvin staying back, hiding behind this piece of furniture, we shift back to Dom, who is trying to wrestle this thing down. So Dom, it's time to make that roll. Big roll.
Okay, so I've got 1 more drive and I'm gonna use it with 4 dice. 1 gilded. Highest I got is a 3.
That's a failure. Oh, shit.
Oh, can I use a resistance?
You can use a resistance and re-roll. You can't use drive, but you can re-roll your strike.
Right, still have 3 dice. 4.
Okay, mixed success. Okay.
On my gilded too. Can I use the gilded after I use the resistance?
Yes.
You get a drive.
Okay.
You get a drive back. Yep.
Great.
Okay. So as you grapple this creature down and start to squeeze the life out of it, in the smoke, you don't see it coming. As you're squeezing the last bit of life out of it, sheer just anger.
Well, he's starting where he thinks a larynx would be with 2 thumbs and trying to drive his thumbs right through the neck. And if he's just gelatinous, he might just be tearing the neck apart.
Okay.
And he's taking such glee in it. It's not like him. He's never been this kind of killer. He's killed many times as a soldier. And this is not business.
Awesome. As you squeeze the life out of this creature, with the smoke still in this room, you feel the life leaving it. But in these last seconds, Viktor, Arthur, and Marvin, you would hear another gunshot. As Dom, your collarbone gets destroyed, causing you to lurch back. As you go, you take a body.
I'm down.
As you go down, the creature becoming gelatinous and no longer breathing life. Smoke begins to fade in the room here. You see Dom laying on the ground, blood pooling around him where the bullet had passed through. His shirt torn, unconscious. That's where we're going to end this episode.
Amazing.
Woo!
We fought a lot today.
Yeah.
When's the bookstore episode?
That actually, we'll talk about that in our after hours here. So hope everybody enjoyed episode 4 of the Streets and Nevermore podcast, and we'll pick it back up next time with episode 5 and see what the Circle of Danse Macabre is going to get themselves into in the aftermath. Hello! Kylie Hollop here, Game Master of Season 1 of the Streets of Nevermore podcast. I wanted to take a moment to shout out our Patreon subscribers, Benjamin Hadler, Kenneth Torek, The Final Holmes, Seth George, and The Third Man for your support. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon of the podcast, please head over to patreon.com/Dicescape to learn more about the available tiers and the perks you get for becoming a Dicescape Patreon subscriber. Some of those extra perks and bonus content is available now on the Patreon, including Viktor Crowel's audio logs, office hours with Professor Wright, and after hours with the entire cast. Links to our Patreon will be found in the show notes and a link to a video breaking down the various Patreon tiers. Your patronage helps support our small team scattered across the country, put together each episode as we continue to refine our craft, utilize better resources so that we can deliver continually evolving episodes throughout the remainder of the season and beyond. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing the next episodes with you here soon. Goodbye. Streets of Nevermore, a Dicescape podcast, was created using the Darrington Press Community Gaming License. The Illuminated World Standard Resource document is owned and copyrighted by Darrington Press, LLC, all rights reserved. Streets of Nevermore, a Dicescape podcast, is adapted and based on content created and owned by Darrington Press. Candela Obscura, Darrington Press, LLC, 2023, available at darringtonpress.com.